Okay, so I wanted to watch this. It's like Rotten Mango, Stephanie and her husband. Like they're always. I've been listening to them since, or watching them. Actually, I think I've been watching them. Wait, I'm trying to think. I think I watched them before Rotten Mango even started. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think I was watching the Stephanie channel before Rotten Mango was even a thing at first. Like I remember watching the first ever videos that she put up on Rotten Mango because I was like, oh my god, I recognise who she is. And then obviously I found out that it was Stephanie. But I watched the Stephanie channel, and I also watched her cousin. I forgot his name. Din. I forgot. But like I think I watched him first. Actually no. I think I watched one video of his, and then I watched her. Then I found her, and then I found all the videos that he was in with her. And then, you know, when she was doing like the mukbang talking things, and even before that, like when she was just doing like vlogs as well, like she was always so fun to watch because her husband's always in the back, and I think at some points he was only her fiance, and then at some points obviously I think they were always, from what I remember of all the videos I've seen, I think it was always fiance or husband. I don't think it was ever just boyfriend. I could be completely wrong, like because it's been so long since, it's been absolutely years. But I just wanted to watch, I wanted to like actually react to one of her videos because usually I just watch her, and I brought my Sudoku book because this is what I usually do when I'm watching her. Like I watch her, but I also do my Sudokus because it's always just so much more fun to just also kind of chill out while watching her, you know what I mean? So this is what I'll be doing. Just if anybody likes this type of video, then please tell me. But her videos are always so freaking long, so I probably would have to like split it up if I did like one of the 2-hour or 3-hour videos. But I've pretty much watched all of her stuff now, so I kind of have to do this one because I think, let me go through actually. I want to look and see which ones I haven't done. There might be quite a few actually, because I haven't done the... Oh, actually there's quite a few that I haven't done yet, because I started watching some of them with my grandma, because she also really liked her. Like the first one I think I watched with my grandma was the like I'd already seen them all, so I wanted to like introduce her to them because my grandma loves like watching the true story type stuff, but she also loves like just the detective things. Like we watched Murdoch Mysteries together and like things like that, you know. It's always like crazy to watch the true story stuff though. But yeah, the first ones I watched, the very first ones was like the I think the only one I haven't shown her that is like the first ones was the bridge one. I think the my god, I'm trying to get to them, but the very first ones that she ever did, like Rotten Mango ever did, was the ones with the fairy, Soul Fairy, and the yeah, I haven't done the bridge one, so maybe I'll have to show my grandma that one. Oh yeah, I also showed her the one with like the burning sun stuff. Like I've shown her all those ones. So insane, bro. Oh yeah, the Korea's Death Mall one, like I showed that one too. There's so many insane ones here actually. There's quite a few I haven't watched from the older stuff, but it's because some of them just don't interest me in like to watch them. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say, but like some of them I've seen already, or I've known them for a while, and then she obviously covers them. So it's kind of interesting to watch. Like I always wanted to know about the Seoul stuff, and the way that Stephanie tells the stories is just so good. Like, you know, you just feel like you are either there or you just feel so bad for everybody apart from the people that are like terrible, you know. Oh yeah, the Ita one, yeah, I think that's the first one. The 6 Arrested for the Killing of Hong Kong model Abby Choi was the first one she ever did, and then the Itaewon one was the one that like I think skyrocketed her even more, and then, you know, loads of people started watching her. But I think most people that watched her like Stephanie channel watched this, you know, started watching this. I think so anyway. But yeah, I didn't know she was going to start doing Rotten Manga though, so it was really interesting to see her branch out to this. But yeah, that is the, but this one's going to be interesting. I mean, it's called Husband Kills Wife, right? Oh wait, there's an advert now, so I'm just, hold on, sorry. But yeah, husband kills wife for denying sex during her period, which is an insane thing to ever have as a thing, you know. That's an insane title to read, that's an insane thing to say. That's just, I mean, I literally don't even have words for what that, I mean, this one is going to be absolutely insane. Like, you killed your wife for not, you know, pleasuring you essentially because she's on her period. Like, she's on her period, what are we on about, you know what I mean? Like, it's so insane how men think that they can just like be like in absolute power of like a woman. Like, it's just so insane. Like, anyway, let's just get on with it. Hold on. I love that.
Is going to be the next to die. That is the most likely, reasonable conclusion that everybody in his life is coming to. He's gonna be next. He's gonna be the next one to die. Especially right now, because he's just wandering around this empty, strong, disinfectant, chemical-scented hallways of the morgue.
I do love the way she starts videos too.
SJ
so good.
Is growing concerned. They're getting nervous. Somebody needs to stay with him. Hurry, I'm worried he's gonna die too. I'm anxious. This is a direct quote from one of his family members. Wherever SJ goes, there is an anxious family member sitting next to him. If he's in the hallway outside the room, there is a family member sitting right next to him.
This better not be the
also
husband.
Exhausted, leaned back against the chair and staring into the abyss of the bright office backroom lighting morgue hallway. And it's very understandable that SJ is distraught. SJ's wife is laying on a steel table in the room right behind him, right next to all of his family members, and they're about to cut her open to see how she was killed inside of their house, inside of their newlywed home after they had been married for only 3 months. She's killed in the middle of the night, and because SJ is drunk and passed out on the couch, he has no clue what happened to his wife inside the master bedroom, the primary bedroom.
Of course he doesn't.
It could have been an intruder. It could have been a medical anomaly. I mean, that's highly unlikely, but we don't know. SJ is sitting next to his wife's sister. So this is his sister-in-law. I mean, she's also grieving. She would more so be in a state of shock, staring at the hallway in front of them. She's probably in more pain about losing her sister than SJ is about losing his wife. They've only been together for like a year and a half.
Bro, this is insane. What? Oh my god, wait. So we're not even allowed to... Oh, I hate that in like the Korean like justice system. We can't see the perpetrator's face, but we can see hers. Like, that's so bad.
In reality, she was dead in the bedroom. He's probably hit the hardest, at least right now. I mean, it's his wife after all. And then SJ turns to his sister-in-law. So this is the deceased sister, you know.
Wait. Please don't tell me he's going to say something stupid.
And she just distinctly remembers how odd this was. He turns to her in the hallway, in the morgue, when they're performing this autopsy. And he states, you know, I'm someone with really strong sexual desires.
Bruh.
What?
She's tilting her head. She's
Are we
looking
okay?
at him like this is unsolicited, unprompted information that she doesn't even know if she heard this correctly. What do you mean? I'm a person with strong desires, you know? But your sister would never let me touch her. She's sitting there trying to understand what he's telling her. Her sister is dead, most likely murdered, and being autopsied.
She's really pretty
in the room
as well.
right there. And her sister's husband is telling her that he has a lot of needs. What the hell is going on right now?
Bruh, I really freaking hate people who just... Oh my god. This poor sister-in-law as well. The sister, she's like being... She has to sit next to this guy. Like, she's gonna feel so... I mean, it's not even her fault. She's just gonna
We
feel
would like to
so
thank today's
bad
sponsors who have made it
for
possible
sitting next to the
Rotten
person that
Mango to
killed
support
her
the
sister.
National
Like,
Network
she's
to
gonna
End Domestic Violence,
like
a
the whole
nonprofit
life she's gonna feel
organization
bad
whose
unless she
mission
gets
is
to punch this
eradicate all
guy's
partner
ass.
relationship,
Like,
workplace, and
I doubt
stalking
she will be able
violence.
to, but oh
This
my
episode's
god.
partnerships have
Oh
also
my
made it
God.
possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team. We'd also like to thank you guys
I
for
also
your
hope this
continued
doesn't
support.
end
As always,
with,
full
like,
show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com.
him getting away with
A
this,
few disclaimers
because
for this case.
that's
There are
usually the
mentions
case
of
in these
SA
cases.
and
Like, people
a
either
lot
get
of
away or
mentions
they
of
really get a
pregnancy
light
loss, so
sentence.
please
This is probably
watch
going to
with
be a really
caution.
light sentence
This
for
case
this.
also takes place in South Korea. We had our
Insane.
wonderful Korean translators help us with this case. However,
Yeah, I
if
freaking love her
anything
team.
ever gets lost in translation, just please let us know in the comments. And with that being said, let's get started. How do you know Satan's not your neighbor? I think it's a good question. Okay, perhaps one that is never asked and only ever answered in typically a life-threatening manner. There is this tradition, though, in South Korea where if you live in a big apartment building, every now and then you will get a ring on your doorbell. You look at the intercom screen, because a lot of these apartments will have a screen even if someone's right outside your door. Or sometimes you look through the tiny little peephole and you have one eye open, and you'll usually see one or two people that you have never seen in your entire life standing outside your apartment door very
Then
awkwardly.
I would
You
not
don't
be
know
opening
how
the
they
door
got
then.
access into the building, let alone why are they standing at your door. You don't know. But you look down and they're holding a paper bag with stripes. It looks festive. It looks like a gift bag.
I'm not opening
you
the
look
door.
back up and they're now staring directly into the peephole with this awkward, polite half smile. They know you're on the other side staring at them. You know that they know. And so now you've got to open the door.
I
So
wouldn't.
that's what you do.
There
And
ain't
they
no
let
way.
you know, hi, we're the new neighbors upstairs. We just moved in. We
No.
wanted to bring you rice cakes. The tradition lives on. It's not as big as it used to be. I
Oh,
will
okay,
say.
so it's
the
just-
apartment buildings in
it's
Korea
just a
have
nice
gotten
thing to
much
do, I
larger.
guess.
It would
But
just
still,
not
I
be
would-
fiscally responsible to buy rice
I would
cakes
not.
for all 132 neighbors of the building. But in smaller communities, people have stopped doing it too. I mean, it's a shame because
Yeah,
the
I mean, I wouldn't
tradition
do it.
isn't just about meeting your neighbors and being cute and being polite and bringing
You
them
can't
rice
trust
cakes.
people these days.
It's to drive out evil spirits.
Oh,
That's the symbolism behind the rice cakes. If Satan were to live next door to you, you drive them out the building like a mass exorcism via a red bean rice cake. That's the meaning.
That's interesting.
Satan notoriously doesn't like rice cakes. Who would have known? I mean, obviously, it's an exaggeration of a tradition, but you get what I mean. There is a meaning behind it. And so
Got my
that's why
giant ass
December
pen, bro.
2024, Haeyoung and her husband SJ, they are distributing rice cakes to everyone in their building. They just got married.
right.
Neighbors in the building are actually kind of stunned because usually it's high schoolers who will come distribute the rice cakes because their parents are forcing them to do it, or it's elderly couples. But you never get two young couples who willingly, on their own
Interesting.
accord, decide that they're going to pass out rice cakes. It's a tradition that's dying in the younger generations, so it's actually very cute. Haeyoung and her new husband are doing this, and if you ask anybody about Haeyoung, if you ask anybody about SJ, they're gonna say if anyone's gonna pass out rice cakes to their neighbors, it's gonna be them. Haeyoung and SJ
Interesting.
got married December 2024. One of Haeyoung's friends had stood up during their wedding to make this toast, and this is verbatim. Finally, a man worthy, a man with a big heart to embrace our Haeyoung. Seeing
Oh,
the way you
wow.
look at Haeyoung, the way you talk to her, your tone of voice, the way you take care of her so attentively, I think as friends
She's
we
so
realized
pretty.
maybe it's okay to let Haeyoung get married now. I hope you guys live happily. Maybe
That
it has to
sucks
do
so
with the fact that
much.
they're 34 when they get married. It just feels like they were waiting for the right person. And because they're more established, they know what they want in life, they find the partner that fits perfectly. Haeyoung's older sister, Mimi, this is a pseudonym, she's very happy because she says, I mean, it was the wedding that Haeyoung always wanted. It was her dream day. It's her dream wedding venue. It's her dream wedding dress. She was just so happy. I was just so happy. And her husband, SJ,
She's
is
so
calling our
pretty.
parents mom and dad. And it's just like one of those wholesome relationships.
I know I keep saying that, but she really
They
just
kind of
is.
stand as an example for maybe why people should wait until their 30s to get married, because it feels like that's the time that you find your partner and everything is just kind of working out. They're both incredibly polite, they're diligent with work, they're very traditional when it comes to following customs. Example, the whole rice cake thing. Haeyoung's friends say, okay, sometimes it's awkward when you're hanging out with couples and then a wife or a husband snaps at the other party, and now the whole entire table is uncomfortable and it just feels like, ooh, someone's ego's getting hurt, someone's gonna get into a fight. It's a whole thing. But they say with SJ, he would just make it less awkward even for the whole friend group. He would just talk back lovingly, even when she's snappy, and say things like, see, are you guys seeing this? She has me totally wrapped around her finger. These are real messages between the couple. Haeyoung is asking about a gift that SJ had given her, and she says, what is this? Thank you, heart. He says, it's from my heart. Heart emoji. I love you, my woman. I love you too. Heart emoji. I miss you already. Me too. Like, it's just very, they text like they're still in the honeymoon phase. It's like they're obsessed with each other. And then
so interesting.
2 months into being what people would call, maybe even jinx, the perfect marriage.
So like February 2025?
February
Wow.
19th, Haeyoung texts SJ, I think divorce is the answer. Let's get divorce papers in the morning when we wake up.
Oh, wow.
Exactly a month later, so now 3 months into their marriage, they are still not divorced, and Haeyoung's mom gets a phone call from SJ. Hello?
Jeez.
She just hears him crying on the other end, and this is again verbatim.
This
Hello?
is when she's...
What's going on? Why? What happened to Haeyoung? He's not responding. He's just dry heaving, sobbing. Talk to me. Tell me what happened. Another man clearly takes the phone, and his voice, I mean, this is a stranger, at least to Haeyoung's mom. She's never heard this man's voice before in her life.
Is it police?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
What happened to my Haeyoung? What's going on? I'm a police officer. Your daughter passed away between early yesterday morning and this afternoon.
Imagine getting that.
What is my son-in-law doing right now? Can I talk to him? He's completely out of it right now, but you guys will need to discuss having Haeyoung's body moved to a morgue to potentially be autopsied. Haeyoung's mom hears SJ in the background, and he's just like asking in a small voice, what do I do? What do I do? And as she's listening to SJ and this man have a conversation, she starts coming down. A lot of that earlier hysteria starts slipping away because this is not happening right now. I mean, none of this is real. And she's not disassociating, at least not in this moment. She thinks this whole thing is ridiculous. She's thinking, they're getting so fucking good at this.
Like a prank?
I mean, she's heard all of the
Oh,
news
she
about
thinks
it.
it's a prank.
I
I mean, you wouldn't ever think
and she
that it
has
was
to
real.
go from her hometown to Seoul to see Haeyoung, and she says, quote, I thought it was a voice phishing scam, really. I didn't shed a single tear until I got to Seoul because I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
People are getting calls that their elderly parents have been kidnapped and the hostage taker needs $500
true,
to set
there's
them
like
free,
all those
which is an
weird
insanely
ass
little
things.
amount of money for, I don't know, your mother-in-law dying. And so a lot of people will pay it. Or older parents are posting $9,000 bail amounts for their 20-something-year-old college-age child who somehow landed themselves in jail, except they didn't. They're actually just at a frat party and they're not picking up their phone. Others are a bit more unsettling. Parents will tuck their 10-year-old kid into bed for the night, and an hour later they get a phone call that their kid has been kidnapped. And naturally, they will rush into the room to check up on their kid, who is blissfully unaware and asleep in this little bed, but you can hear their exact screams through the phone. The child is asleep, you can see that with your own two eyes, but you can also hear someone who sounds exactly like your child screaming through the phone. But with all these phone calls, there is a pattern. Everybody wants money. That's it, money. There was not a single mention of money in the phone call that Haeyoung's mom received.
Yeah.
Haeyoung's older sister, Mimi, and her mom, they start rushing to the apartment that Haeyoung had just moved in with her husband, the newlywed apartment where they just passed out rice cakes. And it's not a scam. Her daughter Haeyoung is dead, and nobody knows why. I mean, it doesn't make sense. She's 34 years old. She's healthy. She has no prior medical conditions. She has no ailments. She just dies in her sleep in her bed. What about SJ? He says he was sleeping outside on the couch outside of their bedroom and then left for work in the morning. He had no clue what happened.
That's him.
Just 3 months into their marriage, he's a widower.
Bruh. She's so much prettier than him. What the hell? No offense to him, but like, I mean, actually all offense to him. Like, what am I on about? He sucks. Bruh. This is just awful.
The most important role at a Korean funeral is the chief mourner. This is the person closest to the deceased. They will wear the white armbands, and this is the one that everyone sends their condolences to.
Please don't tell me
The
it's going to be
chief mourner
him.
has to greet guests. They have to lead all of these various ceremonies, and they just have to make all the hard decisions.
They'd have to have another
It
funeral
creates
if that's
a
the case,
huge
because there's no way I
emotional
would
burden.
be okay
Everyone
having
is
him be
throwing their
the...
sadness at you. And you have to make sure that everything is done perfectly to make sure that your loved one passes on to the other side peacefully. So everything has to be in order, and you have to almost put your own sadness to the side. I mean, it's such a laborious position that a lot of funeral homes will have a small resting room for the chief mourner, because it's like a multi-day affair. It's just all day long. People will go to funerals, and there's food served at funerals, I guess kind of like a wake in America. And people will bow, and you have to stand right next to the casket as people are bowing and saying their goodbyes. It's just emotionally draining. People will walk into Korean funerals, and before even saying anything, giving condolences, they will ask first, who is the chief mourner? You're getting all of this exhaustion and emotions thrown at you. And Haeyoung's older sister, Mimi, again, this is a fake
Is
name.
she the chief mourner?
Mimi is at the funeral. She's not the chief mourner. SJ is the husband.
That's
But
so...
she's just distraught because she's like, I saw my younger sister a few hours before she died in
I'm
bed.
telling you, like, him
It
being
doesn't
the
make
chief
sense.
mourner
If
is
they
absolutely
go by
awful.
the
They need to have
time
another
of
one.
death on the autopsy,
There's no way.
which is like maybe 6 a.m, she saw her at like 3 a.m. So it doesn't make any sense. Haeyoung, her husband SJ, they had met up with Haeyoung's older sister Mimi and Mimi's friend. So it's the 4 of them. They're out at a restaurant drinking until 3 a.m, and she's explaining to everybody, asking questions. She's like, just a few hours earlier, we were having such a good time drinking together. So when I
so
heard
it was
the
that
news,
night.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that morning, I
Did
guess.
she notice anything weird about Haeyoung the night before? Like, she can't just be happy, healthy, and then suddenly pass away, right? Her sister says, quote, I was sitting right in front of her, face to face. If there had been any sort of injury or anything that seemed like she was sick, I would have asked her about it. She didn't even seem ill. She just said that night, oh, I'm tired, I'm on my period, but it's really heavy. So my body feels just exhausted and tired. And this is like a really weird period. That's it. Which, again, is not like the most alarming thing. Lots of people will say, oh, I don't know I've said that a million times. I don't know what's going on, but my cramps are like the worst this month. She did look tired, but not abnormally tired. Nothing that would be alarming where Haeyoung's older sister would say, oh, don't, like, go home early, don't even drink with us. It was just, oh, I'm just a little under the weather.
So at this point, there's no cause of death.
No.
Okay.
And SJ, I guess, is trying to lighten the mood that night and make his wife feel better because he's like, okay, well, everyone, let's eat, let's drink. Interestingly, he's not particularly a big drinker or someone who likes to stay out and get drunk, so it's rather surprising. But they did stay out for 3 rounds of drinks. They don't get back home. So Mimi and her friend actually drop off Haeyoung and SJ. Because Mimi's friend was the DD. She's the designated driver.
Okay.
Haeyoung and her husband,
I would
they
hate
get
to be
home
the
at 3:10
designated driver, bro.
a.m. Haeyoung's sister says, I was too drunk to even remember getting home. My friend was the DD. We dropped off Haeyoung and SJ first. And then around 4 a.m., I know this, because the next day, Haeyoung had sent me a bunch of text messages. So Haeyoung is joking, kind of joking. Okay, it's like very sibling. But she's texting her a picture of Mimi, the older sister, passed out on the street. And with a message, you're so annoying! Exclamation, exclamation. Ugh, get some sleep and just get to work safely tomorrow. Still, you're so annoying. It's likely that people
cute.
asked Mimi about SJ too, who is obviously the chief mourner at the funeral. But how is SJ handling all of this? Well, when I went to my sister's apartment, he was just sitting in the living room staring blankly. I kept asking him what happened. And he wasn't in a state to talk. He just kept crying and saying, I don't know. In the midst of the funeral, a group of men walk in and they take SJ, the chief mourner, to the corner, which is kind of odd. Okay, usually
Please don't
you see
tell
your
me, like,
condolences just,
this is
where
when
the
they're gonna
chief
find
mourner is
out that
standing, which
he's
is
the one that
typically
did it.
right next to all the flowers and the casket. But they take him to the side. And someone out of the like 5 guys surrounding the chief mourner, someone out of that group reaches into their pocket
Handcuffs?
and takes out handcuffs.
Right.
And handcuffs SJ in front of his wife's family, his
Yep.
friends, his wife's casket. I mean, the minute it registers, everybody jumps up and they're just staring. They're not really sure what to do, because also this is reminiscent of a very famous K-drama, Marry My Husband, where
really?
after the wife is deceased, the
I didn't think
husband
about
gets
Marry My
arrested
Husband
at her
actually.
funeral
But yeah, I guess it is.
Right.
before
okay.
she's
Similar.
reincarnated. So I mean, I don't know, but everyone is just, I mean, this is the thing that is said in hindsight by a lot of people.
Right,
So
right.
everybody is jumping up, they're staring, they don't really know what to do, but they're panicked. These are detectives. You're being arrested on suspicion of murdering your wife, Hae-young. The people interviewed at Hae-young's funeral would say it felt unreal. It felt disconnected from reality. It almost
Right.
felt theatrical.
Everybody that's there
in a
would be
weird
thinking,
way.
what the
Because
heck?
SJ
Like, is this
instantly,
real,
as
or
he's
are
being
we
dragged
all going
out of
crazy?
the funeral home, he's screaming, "It's not me, mother-in-law! Like, Omani, you have to believe me. It's not me."
Bruh.
And then with his hands cuffed behind his back, he does a 90-degree bow to Hae-young's father. And he's like, I'll be back, it's not me." And then his eyes are wide open. He looks hysterical, he looks bug-eyed. And then Hae-young's sister, Mimi, and her friends notice the corner of his lips lift up.
Oh.
Like he can't help but smile.
Yeah, so he's like smiling.
There is a website that talks about how to have the
Jesus.
perfect marriage, how to satisfy both partners in the union.
Sorry about
and
this,
it
I'm
reads,
trying to
a wife
put my
cannot
pen out.
flatly refuse her husband. She may only ask for a rain check, and then she needs to make good on that rain check as
Please don't tell me
quickly
you
as
read this
possible.
thing.
A husband
Well, he
has
wrote
the
it.
right to confront his wife's sexual refusal as a sin, not only against him, but also against God. A husband ought not to feel guilty for having sex with his wife when she is not in the mood if she yields even
Bruh.
grudgingly. A husband needs to use prayerful discernment to discover if her reasons for, quote, not being in the mood are for legitimate physical or mental health reasons, or if the problem is wrong thinking and wrong attitude on the part of his wife. Listen, I'm not a religious person, nor do I think the blog author of this website is a religious person either. However, with an appropriate amount of common sense, I can easily tell you that if you have to ask God why your wife doesn't want to sleep with you, the problem is within. But because this man knows how to write words and string together somewhat grammatically correct sentences, he wants the world to see and applaud his very mediocre grasp of the English language. He continues, if her reasons are legitimate, then she needs to seek medical or psychological help as soon as possible. Most people think of sexual immorality as only someone having sex outside of marriage. But remember that when something is immoral, that means it is a sin. And we know that sexual denial in marriage is a sin. Therefore, it is accurate to call willful sexual denial in marriage an act of sexual immorality.
Bruh.
Intelligence is not a requirement to have access to a working keyboard, to clickety-clack. And unfortunately, stupidity is something that some people, like this author, can work towards being the best at, you know, truly excel at. After all, it is a man's prerogative, right? He continues, biblically speaking, the husband is the spiritual authority in his home, and he has the biblical obligation to first attempt to discipline his wife, as she is his responsibility. Only when he has exhausted all forms of discipline and she remains defiant and divorce is looming should he approach a counselor to act as a witness to her sin. It goes on to say the forms of discipline a husband should use if the wife does not want to have intimate relations with the husband is not to take a shower, to take a self-help class, not to get your own ducks in order because something's probably wrong with you.
Yeah.
They say stop taking her on dates or trips. Another
Bruh.
step includes, you know those dinners that you cook or the vacuuming you do? You know, just like basic chores of someone who lives in a place of shelter and they should be doing. You know those things that really
Stop
she
doing
should
them,
be
I
doing,
guess.
but you have simply been trying to be nice and doing for her? Stop doing them. Stop giving her those nice back and shoulder massages she loves so much. And then it says, if she is financially dependent on you, remove all funding for her aside from food and shelter. And if
Bruh.
she still doesn't listen, the last few steps are rebuke her before witnesses and bring her before the church.
What the hell?
They end it with a good old, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Well, once you bought the cow, you are supposed to get the milk for free. I fear that this website is not reflective of Christian values or Christian husbands.
It's
or
not reflected on
happy
any
husbands.
values, really.
However, it is reflective of people who do exist. in the ether. There are married partners out there who firmly believe that after marriage, they are entitled to sex. There is a whole subreddit that you can go on called r/change my view, and we've talked about this forum before, but people go there to never change their view. Like, nobody ever changes their view on there. They go to get off on the arguments in the comments. I don't know why this sub even exists, okay, but it is interesting to read, so I get the appeal. However, views are never changed. And the way that the posts are written, I mean, you start thinking, how could you have a separate view aside from this one? That doesn't make sense. One Reddit post reads, change my view. Marriage does not entitle anyone to sex. In the old days, men were legally allowed to R-word women within marriage. It was not considered R-word at all. It goes on to continue and argue that in order for R-word culture to be undone, we are going to have to reconceive marriage utterly in such a way that nobody will ever be under pressure to give up their rights to their body and let their bodies be taken in marriage, which I don't really think is a hot take. I mean, there were some arguments for like semantic interpretation of the post, but one person, probably a guy, responds, how far does your view extend? Does it say extend to marriage doesn't guarantee you access to a man's wealth or resources? I love when people just like have imaginary money that they're hoarding from like potential gold diggers. What are we talking about right now? Just like make-believe stuff? But they go on, or is it just your view that sex is the only place you get a choice? Another person has a less polarizing yet differing viewpoint, writing, depends on what you consider entitled to. Everyone is entitled to be in a relationship that meets their emotional and physical needs. This includes sex. If the relationship doesn't meet said needs, whatever they may be, then a person has the right to complain, to discuss it, to work it out, or to leave if the needs cannot be met. So while you are correct that marriage does not give you the right to R-word someone by forcing them to have sex, you are entitled to have your emotional and physical needs for intimacy and sex met by your spouse and to be disgruntled if they're not doing so. Another one responds very weirdly. I agree, but I must ask, why the hell would you marry or stay married to someone who doesn't want to have sex with you? Another person writes, I would say sex is basically part of the marital contract. I mean, you're basically just friends or roommates otherwise, which you wouldn't need all the legal complications of marriage for that. So yeah, you are entitled to sex from your partner.
I mean, it really depends, right? You should talk, before you even get married, you should have talked about your desires, how you are in general. Like, it shouldn't just be when you're married, you get to change how it has been, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be like, now I can have sex with you whenever I want because I'm married to you now, like I own you. You know what I mean? That's not how it should be. It should literally be, and that goes for either gender, any gender, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't just have it be where, you know, I am now the one in charge of you, you know. And also, you can't just be like, it depends, because like there's so many people who would be asexual or aromantic or whatever, you know, and then there's so many people who want sex like every day or something. So you have to find a balance if you are that type of relationship. And then if you also are that type of relationship and you know it's not going to work out, then you should not have got married. You should not be together, you know what I mean? You should be very honest with people. I think is this an advert? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna skip the advert. I do love her adverts though.
And then you click on like a suggested change my view. A woman who expects her husband to completely devote himself sexually to her, yet refuses to have sex with him, is both selfish and cruel. If a woman refuses to have intimate relations with her husband, the husband then has every moral right to check out women, flirt, view videos, and even in certain cases, cheat. A woman has every right to refuse sex if she doesn't want it, but freedom to choose also means a prohibition on a man from having any sexual outlet whatsoever is very wrong. Cheating is a violation of exclusive sexual intimacy, but in a sexless marriage, there is no sexual intimacy had. I will say that aside from people having medical conditions or some sort of psychological reasoning of not wanting to be intimate with their partner, typically your partner not wanting to be intimate with you is usually something wrong with you, if that makes sense. Like, these husbands, I would say that this is not the majority of married couples or reflective of husbands or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just such an odd thing. It's weird. But there are people that are very serious about it. Not even just on r/change my view. There are people that will write things on Reddit like, if you get married, you are essentially signing away your sexual consent in exchange for financial and emotional and relationship stability. If neither party is ready to give up on their autonomy, then they shouldn't get married, because breaking those technically voids the marriage contract. Saying no to a husband simply isn't an option unless you're physically incapable, which might be the case after an argument or if you're sick or whatever. With a boyfriend, all bets are off. You didn't say any vows. Do what you want. Remember when, honey, I have a headache, used to be something people joked about? That was back when the marriage commitment was taken more seriously, and that was only 10-ish years ago. Nowadays, you don't even need an excuse to turn your husband down, and it's disgusting that this has become acceptable in society after people have made marriage vows stating
This is going to
the
be
opposite.
all guys talking about
The
this,
more
right?
alarming part is there are a lot
Like,
of
all of
women
these
who
comments
agree
must
with
be
this
about-
viewpoint,
must be
and there is
guys
a Reddit
talking,
thread
because
where one woman writes,
insane.
I told my friends I'd never say no to intimate relations except for serious illness or injury, which my husband wouldn't ask for intimate relations if that were actually painful or dangerous. But there are times when I'm tired and technically not in the mood, sure, but I would never say no. My friends felt like that was horrible and degrading. I think a lot of couples are in the never say no camp, not because they're not allowed to say no, but just because, like, people have good times with their partners, and usually your partner will know when to initiate, and by that point everybody's in the mood, everyone's excited, so you don't really end up saying no. But the reasoning that she gives for never saying no, this is her life, it's her dream. But it's interesting. She writes, the way I see it is, before marrying my husband, he could have sex with so many women. He made the choice to marry me and just be with me. As a good wife, I want him to feel I'm available to him whenever he wants and needs. Even if I'm tired, I put in effort. If he's in the sauna and the other men are complaining about their sexless marriages, I want him to be able to say, oh, my wife never says no.
That's so
A
weird.
fake, imaginary, steamy, hot, sweaty sauna session between a bunch of dudes is like the strangest thing to revolve your life around.
Yeah,
as a
that's
wife,
a
but,
really
like, here we
strange thing
are.
to think about.
Unfortunately, this seems to be a much bigger sentiment than I thought. SJ falls directly into this group. His friends say, SJ had some unique outlooks on marriage, relationships. He would say to us all the time, if I can't have sex with my wife, where am I supposed to get it? Should I go pay for it? But, like, he was drunk, you know, or he would say things like, look, if I want to, she needs to do it. That's what marriage is.
Bruh.
But again, he was drunk, so maybe he didn't mean it. 4 months before getting married, Haeyoung and SJ are on their way back from a big group friend vacation in Vietnam. This is August of 2024. They land touchdown at Incheon Airport in South Korea. Haeyoung feels odd. She goes to the restroom, and within minutes, there are ambulances outside of the airport. She is being rushed out. There is blood everywhere. It is so much blood to make
What
any
happened?
sense. Because it doesn't make sense, because she's miscarrying.
Oh.
6 months into dating Haeyoung, SJ and Haeyoung had gotten pregnant. They actually found out a few days before going to Vietnam. This is like a trip that they had planned for weeks with
That
their friends.
sucks.
But Haeyoung, who has always wanted to start a family, she's so happy about being pregnant. She even immediately asked, so in
I hope
Korea,
he
you get,
didn't
like,
do
the
something to
pregnant
make that
woman
happen.
badge, and you can use it at subway stations or like on the train or in public transport, because a lot of women don't show immediately, or during winter you don't see it. And it's in Korea, it's a big deal. You do not sit in the pregnant woman section if you're not pregnant. So that's why they hand out these badges. She even got that. She got all these pamphlets about her pregnancy, and she keeps
Sucks.
asking her doctor, like, are you sure I'm safe to travel? Just to give you some context, I think she found out a week before, like a few days before she's set to go to Vietnam. The doctor is like, you're gonna be fine. I mean, everybody is different. However, you're gonna be fine. You're cleared for travel. This should not be alarming. You're very early into your pregnancy. You're gonna be okay. It's not even that long of a flight. Haeyoung dots all of her I's, she crosses all of her T's, and then when she touches back in Seoul, the baby that she had wanted so badly, she ends up miscarrying.
Sorry.
This is the part where it's just like odd. There is a text message from SJ to Haeyoung the day after she miscarries, and it reads, it's fine as long as you and I are healthy. We can make another baby. I feel so inadequate and foolish. I'm so sorry. Why would he need to apologize? Is he just apologizing because she's going through something so traumatic?
Right.
Haeyoung's friends say when she was pregnant, he wanted to do it. They did it once after she found out she was pregnant and there was a little bit of blood, and so she was really worried for the baby. So she kept refusing to have intimate relations after that. They fought about it, and she told us that she ended up having sex again even though she didn't want to. And then she ended up miscarrying. Nurses see a lot. That's an understatement. Nurses have probably seen more of me than my own husband, which sounds crazy, but my husband has never pried my mouth open, shoved a flashlight down my throat to see if there is like a foreign body lodged in my throat after a particularly
I really thought she was going to say something else when she said
a lot, and they see a lot about people's personalities, especially couples. One Reddit thread from a nurse writes, husbands in the delivery room often do more harm than good. In my view, the husband in the delivery room often can't provide meaningful support and may even create more stress. Many people frame fathers being in the delivery room as a romantic or heroic act, as if witnessing every moment is required to be a good dad. In reality, the practical benefit to the mother is often minimal. A husband who stays outside, handling logistics, communicating with family members, can actually provide more meaningful support. Which you have a lot of people disagreeing. I would also disagree, stating that women are the most safe in medical situations, especially childbirth, when they're relaxed and comfortable and feel supported. However, there are a lot of nurses fighting back saying, yeah, in a perfect world, but most husbands, they're on their phones the entire time while their wife is in labor, or sometimes they're causing more distress, making their wives feel more pressure, or they're not being helpful with other family members that are hounding, giving their 10 cents to the wife about how they should approach childbirth. One woman writes, my husband went downstairs to charge his phone and call his mom from the car. When I called him an hour later because I was 9 centimeters dilated, he said that he was at Sam's buying Tupperware.
Bruh.
Tupperware. Another wife writes, my husband asked if he could borrow one of my pillows because his back hurt and I had too many. The nurses see it all. And for Hae-young, it's not just a miscarriage, which is already very traumatizing. Hae-young actually suffers from a very rare condition that only 1 in 30,000 women have, where she has a miscarriage, which a miscarriage is when you have a fertilized
Please don't
egg
tell me
in the
she
uterus.
can't have any children anymore.
And the pregnancy is not going to come full term, so you miscarry, right? She also has an ectopic pregnancy at the same time. So Hae-young's ectopic pregnancy goes unnoticed for a while because this is really rare. So if you don't know, an ectopic pregnancy is when you have a fertilized egg, but it doesn't end in the uterus. It's outside the uterus. A lot of the times it's in the fallopian tube. And this is very dangerous. You can die. You can very easily die if you have an ectopic pregnancy because that fertilized egg is going to start growing. And a fallopian tube is not like a uterus where it's meant to bear a child. It's not going to stretch. So what it'll do is it'll burst. And then you will be heavily internally bleeding until probably you die unless you get emergency help. It's very dangerous. So she has an ectopic pregnancy outside of the uterus, and she had a miscarriage inside the uterus. So with all of that, a lot of the symptoms of the ectopic pregnancy, she thought that it was from the miscarriage. So it goes for a very long time that she doesn't realize that she has this life-threatening condition, and eventually, once it is realized, there has been so much damage done that the doctors tell her that they need to have emergency surgery and remove that fallopian tube.
When was that surgery? Or
so is it like
before the wedding? So this is like a month after, so around September.
There's so much happening. Like they came back from Vietnam, she miscarried, and then the surgery, and then the wedding. And then
that's insane how much is going on
in 6 months. So Hae-young is texting her sister about what's going on. I had surgery with 1 fallopian tube removed. There were also 2 uterine cysts when they opened it up, and they were black and about to burst. So in Korea, it's not as common in the United States. I think in the US, they'll probably charge you $5 billion for it, but a lot of the times, the nurse's duty to feed patients who cannot eat by themselves. In South Korea, unless you're in very specific, like, intensive care units, a lot of the times, it's up to the family members to feed the patient. So the nurses, they will bring all the nutritious hospital meals that have all of the requirements, and they'll make sure that you're eating, and they'll check up on you. But a lot of the times, unless you're in like the ICU, a lot of the nurses depend on the family members to provide care. So family members will do shifts. If you've got work, then someone's doing like a breakfast shift. If someone's doing a lunch shift, someone's doing a dinner shift. It's just a thing that happens in Korea. I don't know if it's embedded in the healthcare system or if it's just like a societal thing that is built into the communities and the families. I don't know, but it's a thing. So every time Haeyoung is recovering from the surgery, she's laying there. Every time the nurses bring food, Haeyoung doesn't want to eat. She has no appetite. She doesn't want to do this. She's exhausted. And it's up to the family member to airplane that spoon, to beg, to plead, to negotiate that your loved one eat the hospital food. SJ is supposed to be spoon feeding her, but because she doesn't want to eat, he is sitting there eating every single meal that gets delivered, and every single nurse that walks by is judging the shit out of him. Haeyoung has no appetite. She feels too weak to eat, and eventually she's getting annoyed by him. She's sick of seeing his face, and she tells him, you know what, go home and just feed the dogs. He ends up going home. She checks the home camera, and he's not just feeding the dogs. He ordered himself a pizza, plopped on the couch, and is watching TV and munching while she's recovering from this ectopic pregnancy, which he got her pregnant, and he's just at home eating pizza. So understandably,
terrible
all
husband.
of this like trauma and pain and the emotions, Haeyoung tells her friends she just feels really disappointed in him. Like, she just doesn't like this. But worse is that 1 month after this, so this is again still before the marriage, 1 month after, there are text messages between the two where Haeyoung is telling him, ever since the pregnancy and the miscarriage, my body has been so weak. Everything changed suddenly. It's been hard to adjust. I'm just exhausted. He responds, when we're tired, we should support and lean on each other. Yeah, what you're saying is right, but you only want one form of affection expression, and I only have one body. So he's saying, you and I are both tired.
So he's saying he
when
wants
couples
sex.
are tired, we need to depend on each other. And
Basically.
she's like, the only way that you think you can depend on me is for sex, and I can't have sex right now.
She's literally like still recovering.
Yes.
He's insane. Like, what is he talking about? Like, he's literally crazy.
1 month after the surgery, she texts him, if we tried it once and it hurts, shouldn't you think that maybe my body hasn't recovered yet? It hasn't even been a month yet. The scar on the outside of my body hasn't healed. How could the wound inside my uterus be healed?
Yeah, this is terrible.
Well, the doctor said we should return to daily life in a month.
That is crazy.
Which, by the way,
I think a lot of people would wait like ages.
Doctors
you know,
all
like
over the place.
there's so many people who would actually just not want to hurt their partner.
Surgeries. They say their doctor said 2 weeks you can return
Jesus
to normal
Christ.
life. Some people said a month, 6 weeks, and these are guidelines. Usually, the rule of thumb is when you want to return to normal life, especially when it comes to sex, because it's not like, oh, my arm broke, I can't have sex for a month. It's like you're talking about the exact same body parts. Haeyoung feels like this is happening because of an act we did together, but alone I have to suffer, and yet my body is still an object of desire for you. Like, it doesn't make sense. She's texting her friends in frustration. After the miscarriage and the fallopian tube removal, it hasn't even been a month, but the doctor said it was okay to have intercourse after a month, so he keeps whining, and we did it, and I didn't say anything, but it just really hurts my feelings. Her friends are upset. Why didn't you say anything? Someone else is responding, God, this must be really hard for you. Haeyoung texts SJ, stop whining. And like this, I will say, it's like, okay, usually there are different Korean words. Sometimes there's not like the exact word that you can use in English. When you have someone who is complaining, like a husband who is complaining, it's a very different vibe. But the word she uses is like, 찡찡. 찡찡거려. It's like, very much like like when kids are like ting ting, like like I want to do this, I want to do it. Like that
was his energy.
That's the word she uses. Otherwise, you could use stop complaining, stop nagging. Like there's other words. You can
so
use,
he's like a child.
Is
the way he's trying to get
infantile.
her.
It's like what kids do.
Yeah.
Like you really only use it. I would say that my parents treat me like a giant child still, but they still don't tell me don't 찡찡거려 because it's such a specific thing.
Like yes, it's like a baby.
Yeah, it's very like it's not just whining. It's like Very,
Yeah, that's so weird.
it's like that rhythmic tantrum, usually. Because ding ding, it's almost like an onomatopoeia, it's like a sound.
Yeah.
And he
Interesting.
responds, if I don't initiate skinship first, we never have skinship. Skinship, by the way, is like the Korean term for touch and sexual activities. They call it skinship. I'm just asking you to love me as much as I love you, or even just a little. There's a famous Pilates studio in South Korea called Diana Pilates. It's a 6,000 square foot. It uses the entire ninth floor of a glass down building. I mean, you see the whole view of the other buildings,
It's
the mountains in the back.
crazy. Look at
It's
that.
beautiful. A lot of
It is
good
gorgeous.
K-dramas were filmed inside of this studio. I feel like it was
it makes
really
sense.
popular during the Pilates hype during COVID. And then they started doing some reinvention. Once the reformer Pilates started slowing down, they went into flying Pilates, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
when you
the-
put on the bungee cord
Wow.
and you just...
Oh yeah, the one that you hop around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it was really popular in Korea. I think that it's probably not a tried and true tested form of
I think Jenny and
working
Jisoo did that
out.
actually from Blackpink.
In the sense of, I'm sure you get a lot of
there
results,
were
but it
pictures about them
becomes like a
doing it.
thing where people don't know about it or they have to find out about it. It almost feels like a trend. You know how there's always trends for workouts?
I finished the
they
top
switched to
one.
this, a lot of the flying Pilates, and eventually the membership does take a dive with Diana Pilates. And then this definitely makes it worse. There's a new notice on the front door that reads, following the traffic accident, the director, SJ,
Oh,
his spouse has passed away, and SJ remains in critical condition in the ICU. The current
Critical
owner of the
condition,
building, who
what?
knows of the director's sincerity, has arranged it so that the members can continue using the facilities without any inconvenience or charge. Members may rest assured and continue using the premises as usual. We will continue
So
to
it's
repay you
his,
with
like,
better
he's the
environment
director,
and
he's
service.
the-
We ask for your attention and your
Jesus.
support.
Wait, is he the owner or he's the?
Yes, SJ is the owner of this Pilates branch.
oh my gosh.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this notice goes up after Haeyoung dies,
Insane.
but there was no car accident.
Right.
Haeyoung did not die in a car accident. SJ is
So
not
they're
in the
completely
ICU.
lying.
In fact,
He's in jail.
he's getting arrested
Yeah.
as the main suspect for Haeyoung's murder.
Crazy.
Oh, so they're trying to hide it, hide the fact. I see.
SJ is defensive. He's asking the officer, "What are you saying? That I did this?" We didn't say that. But was Haeyoung sick? And these are direct quotes. "Why are you asking me? What did I do wrong?" SJ tells the police, I have no idea what happened that night. He explains they came home after drinking, and even with drinking, Haeyoung has really intense insomnia. So the typical routine is that he sleeps outside on the couch until she can fall asleep inside the bedroom, and then he'll quietly go into the bedroom and sleep. She has trouble falling asleep, but once she's asleep, she's not a light sleeper. He goes into the room a few hours later, and he knows for certain she's knocked out. He's like, which by the way, I'm not like awake for all of this. I fell asleep with the TV on outside in the sofa. I woke up early in the morning to go use the restroom, and that's when I was like, oh, she's definitely asleep. Let me go sleep in the bedroom. I moved back into the bedroom. I lay down next to Haeyoung, and then I wake back up to go to work, and she's still asleep, so I'm letting her sleep in. He explains that when he gets to
Jesus
work, however,
Christ.
normally Haeyoung will wake up a little bit after that, even if she had been drinking the night before, but she doesn't text. He calls her 4 times around 2 p.m. She doesn't pick up. How are you still asleep till 2 p.m.? He's like, this is weird. He runs home. She's dead on the bed. He calls emergency services, and that's all he knows. He doesn't know anything else. I mean, to some degree, this is all very trackable. There is CCTV footage of him leaving the apartment to go to work at around 10 in the morning. His body language looks nonchalant.
10 a.m. in the morning he goes to work.
Yeah.
But she was, she has passed since 6.
Yeah.
Right.
So she passed
And he looks
4 hours
really
before.
relaxed. He starts walking in the direction that work is. But when the police ask his employees if he got there as he normally does, they say, well, no, March 13th was weird. He didn't come in. He usually comes into the studio by 11.
Interesting.
But he wasn't there. He did text me, though. So one of the Pilates instructors is like, he texted me around like 1:30 asking me about my paycheck. It was just like a normal conversation about the pay stub. That was it. Then he calls his wife 4 times. She doesn't pick up. He rushes home and then calls emergency services.
Very weird.
Haeyoung's friends have problems with this because it's very nonsensical. What do you mean a completely healthy 30-year-old woman who, by the way, she has been very health conscious. She's not the type to notice something wrong with her body and hope for the best. She's getting a checkup. What do you mean she just passes away in her sleep? She didn't drink heavily the night before. And when it's not like she threw up. There's no evidence of throw up. There's no evidence that she was so drunk she couldn't get up and she choked on her vomit, which is a very real concern. She just passes away peacefully. There's just no way. Looking at the autopsy results, she has a bruise on her upper lip on the left side, a faint, very faint bite on her lower lip. So again, these are all things that she could have self-inflicted, as maybe she's choking or asphyxiating. But one thing you can't explain is...
Oh god. Please don't tell me she's been like strangled or something. I'm kind of scared.
This very faint red line around her.
Oh my god. Of course.
Are we supposed to believe that
So
she was wearing a scarf when she went to
sure.
sleep? Or that there was a random
I bet you,
string
because
on the
she was
bed
drunk,
that
she was
laid
asleep,
in,
he
rolled
was trying
over,
to have sex with
somehow
her.
tied it around
I
her
bet you
neck
that's
to
what it was.
asphyxiate on by herself. It doesn't make sense. One of the neighbors in the building,
And then she probably
right
woke
below
up and he
Hale
hurt and he
SJ,
like
they
killed
say that
her.
night they did hear something weird. So much so that they even reached out to Hayoung the next day to make sure everything was okay. Well, what did you hear? We're light sleepers, pretty sensitive. So we normally actually just block out normal life sounds. So if we hear someone thumping or it sounds like someone dropped their phone or stomping, you kind of learn to disregard it living in an apartment. But that night, it was a strange and unfamiliar sound. It felt like something dragging, like heavy, like if you were to drag furniture, but it doesn't make like you know how furniture legs will make like the squeaky sounds?
Yeah.
It's not that, it's like if you were to drag a mattress. It's like fabric or like just something heavy and soft.
What?
And then we heard this really weird flapping sound. It was kind of like 파다거리는 소리, like 파다거리는 like like a bird. Okay, so the word is like the bird wings trying to flap, but you're holding onto the bird. That's kind of the feeling. It's like a flapping noise. It's not like a thumping noise, it's like a flapping noise. It's like a very specific noise.
Very
and like that, you
strange.
just don't expect that to hear from a neighbor in the middle of Seoul. And then a strange like ugh noise. Like ugh. Almost as if someone is like breathing out, like ugh.
That's really like clear. They
Yeah.
can hear very
Yeah, the fact that they could
clearly.
hear that is crazy.
And it sounded like a woman, it didn't sound like a man. And that lasted maybe about like 30 seconds. They didn't think much of it. They might have thought if it was something else, maybe. But the next morning, they see a bunch of police officers, so they start freaking out. And that's when they text Hayoung, and they find out that she's gone. Yeah.
The flapping noise, how long did you say it lasted?
That, they don't know. But they said it lasted a while, like all of this. And then it sounded like choking for like 30 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
This is where it gets weird. There are home cameras inside the house, which is typically odd. People don't really like to have home cameras inside, especially with a lot of recent developments. So this was earlier in 2025, but recent developments of a lot of South Korean home cameras getting hacked for intimate websites, like illegal websites. But Hayoung had these 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And they were 15. She's had them for 15 years. So she
Jesus.
just wanted to make sure they're okay when she's
I hope
out at
somebody
work.
else got the dogs. I hope the
family
sister or
is
the
like, "We
family
gotta
at
look
least
house
took the
cameras.
dogs.
If we don't know what happened in the house, just look at the house cameras." They get Hayoung's phone. Not only is the footage gone, the
Like, I hope
app
he didn't kill
for
them
the
or
house
something.
camera is gone. It's like if someone has a Ring camera, you get their phone and the Ring app has been deleted. What do you mean?
Yeah, he's
So eventually,
He's covering
SJ
his
changes
tracks.
his story because none of this is adding up. The asphyxiation, the way that she died, the evidence, there's no evidence that an intruder had entered the home. The home cameras had been deleted. He is the only one that could have done something. He changes his story and he says, "Fine, I killed my wife, but it was an accident." He says that they had gotten into a drunk fight. And all he did was push her because she was trying to get physical, and that led to her hitting her head and passing away. The injuries don't line up with that story. She doesn't have any lacerations on the back of her head. How do you explain the marking around her neck? How do you explain the
Yeah.
fact that her cause of death was manual asphyxiation? And what's crazy is he starts blaming Hayoung. He says that she was looking down on his family. So he actually got upset, not because he is a volatile, violent man, but because he had to defend his family. This is like family honor. He had to stand up for them. SJ will later try to claim that he had read messages on Haeyoung's phone where she is talking to her girlfriends about his disabled mother, and that because of his disabled mother, Haeyoung did not want to have kids with him because she was concerned this is a condition that could be passed down to their child. Authorities go through their chat logs. This is what they find. Haeyoung texts her friend. So he's saying she's like a filthy person. She's evil. She was shit-talking my disabled mother.
Right.
She texts her friends. My mother-in-law can hardly speak or walk. When I go there, I just end up sitting with her for a while before coming back. But SJ says he's happy that I talk to her and I make her smile. Then later in the group chat, Haeyoung texts her friends, why did I marry this piece of shit? So it's like no one really responds. And then she texts this.
Yeah.
He's trying to argue it's because of his disabled mother.
Yeah,
But just listen to the rest of the message.
She's just saying,
Why,
like,
what
she
happened?
hates him,
I'm
right?
not getting pregnant by this motherfucker. I'm not going to have his baby. Huh? Actually, I would rather get pregnant and not have to have sex with him for a whole year. He actually argued with me, saying, you promised twice a week. Why aren't you keeping your word? Wait, but it's not like you guys aren't doing it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not like I refused for a whole month or anything. We did it. And then the next day, the shithead just keeps starting again. He's just completely obsessed with sex. I feel like he's lost his mind. Why did you even marry him then? Another friend chimes in. I mean, you must have married him because there was something good about him, right? I thought he would be a good husband. I didn't know he was sex obsessed. Clearly, she still wants to have children with him, though, because later she writes, the doctor said it would be better to remove my other fallopian tube too, but they told me that they could go ahead in the surgery and get rid of both, but I told them I would discuss it with my husband first and then get discharged. Either way, I think I'm going to try IVF. But as the police go further down into their text logs, they find more messages from Haeyoung to SJ because, I mean, none of these motives make any sense. It's clear that he did not accidentally kill her in a drunken fight, which, not that that would absolve anything, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he definitely did it on purpose,
messages
for sure.
to SJ read, but we always end up fighting because of physical contact. He responds, I want to be close to you because I love you. If two people love each other and feel good together, isn't it natural to have sex? I don't want to right now. If this keeps happening, we really can't keep seeing each other. Okay, I won't push you anymore. Then
I don't know how anybody could be on his side. I know people would be on his side and it's going to be all guys.
It should be
But
something that
how
we
can you
both
not
want.
think
Fine, from now on,
that
we're not going to fight
because
about
of this
anymore.
exact situation, like
Haeyoung
she is
upset by this. She's like, we already had
she
this
is like
conversation before about
recovering
the same
for
exact
first.
thing.
Like it's just
Then another
insane
from
that you
SJ
actually
to
think
Haeyoung.
you
Don't
can
say
just
that you
have
wanna
sex
break
right
up.
now.
There's nothing wrong between us. Haeyoung is agitated. You know, this is the first time I've ever told you that I want to break up, right? It's because I don't respond to your physical affection the way you want, and I can't match the level of affection that you expect. Let's just stop here. Honestly, it would be better for you to meet someone who fits your needs because I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, honestly, this makes
Police
sense.
investigate and they find
makes
that in the
sense. They should
toxicology
divorce,
reports
for
there
sure.
were sleeping drugs in Haeyoung's system when she died.
Oh,
She would never take these drugs, these sleeping medications, after drinking. She
So
was
he
really
definitely
big on
gave
that.
it to
She thought
her.
that any sort of medication mixed with alcohol
So that he
was
could
like
have
a
sex with
surefire
her
way to die.
body.
She would tell her sister, like, if you drink and take anything, like any sort of medication, you will die. The prosecutors believe that SJ approached Haeyoung in the morning, asked for intimate relations. She is having a very heavy period, so it's kind of complicated in the sense of she was not actively miscarrying when she passes away, but it seems like there are lots of complications that were occurring after the miscarriage, after the ectopic pregnancy,
Yeah.
after the surgery. And this period, it wasn't just like I'm just having a rough menstrual cycle this month. It seems like this is the after effects of everything that's happened.
So it
She's
was like a
having
really heavy
bleeding. She's
really,
feeling
really heavy.
unwell. He approaches her in the morning, asks for intimate relations. She denies it. And then he decides that he is going to impulsively kill her. That's how he describes it. But that impulsion lasts 12 hours later. So that's in the morning. She denies having intimate relations.
Oh, that's after the night out.
No.
Oh, wait.
So earlier, before the night out, he asks for intimate relations.
Yeah.
She says no.
Yeah.
So then they go out, they have a good time, and then he's very upset. He ends up killing her that night.
She come back, fell asleep. Oh, that night.
Yeah.
This is premeditated.
Yeah.
So
So he was basically thinking about it the whole day.
That's what the police come to, and there is a whole, like a behavioral psychologist that works for the police. They stated, I don't think this is a matter of sexual desire. So a lot of people are saying, okay, is this like a sex addict that is mixed with someone who has murderous tendencies? Not that we're finding excuses, but we're just trying to understand the concept of this, because how does a husband murder his wife because she doesn't want to have intimate relations? Usually you hear of husbands who are having affairs. You hear of husbands for A, B, C, and D
honestly, it would be better if he had an affair.
This feels a little out of the norm.
Like what?
The behavioral psychologist says, I don't think this was a matter of sexual desire. If it's just really high sexual desire, he could have been obsessed with other women as well.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean, that is true. He could have just tried to sleep with anybody else.
Yeah, they found other messages where he would text Hae-young like, "Don't ever think about
So he was just obsessed with
I will
her.
track you down and I will kill you." Now, I know a lot of people love to victim blame, and they're going to be like, "Oh, well, she should have left and not gotten married if he threatened to kill her." But I will also say that even in English, I think that there's miscommunication of like, "I'll kill you," like I'll kill you if you do something. Like, I guess some people could think it as cute, but in Korean it's even more so, because like the term,
is it like 죽을래?
yeah, or like, oh, 죽여버려. It's like people
so it's
say
like a
that
jokey
lot.
joke.
Like if someone is late for something, it's very common for family members to be like, oh, 죽여버려.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna kill them.
You say
It's
that
very,
here as
like,
well.
It's very
Yeah.
So it was
Like, I'm gonna kill you
because in that
not in
format.
that way, but you know, you.
But I mean,
literally
there
say
were
that.
some alarming things about him, and again, this is not me saying like, oh, she should have left. He's the problem, clearly. But there is one time where Hae-young's friends said they were in the car driving, and this is in Seoul. They get into a fight. He just stops the car in the middle of the road. There's cars honking behind him, and if you've ever driven in Seoul, if you've taken a taxi in Seoul, I mean, it's like New York City. People don't play.
Yeah.
They're honking, and he will not stop. He just stopped and will not stop fighting. The psychiatrist comments, from the perspective of someone like the perpetrator, the victim leaving and becoming another man's wife was unimaginable. So it seems like she had brought up
So it was like
divorce in
the only
February.
way, yeah.
They don't
True,
end up
she was
getting
talking
the
about
divorce,
it.
but things are progressing worse and worse.
So the
She
only way he
rejects
can
his
think of, like,
advances. He decides, okay,
Getting
she's
rid of
definitely
her
going to leave me
instead of
then.
divorce.
And then decides, with the lack of control, the anger, and his
Kill.
bizarre feelings towards having intimate relations with his wife, he kills his wife. And they write, you know,
That shit crazy.
in other words, if I can't have her, I will destroy her. The case goes to trial. He's sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Bruh, it's not enough.
Because it's Korea. A lot of people think that there could
Honestly,
be more to the
25 years
case,
is better than what I
in
thought he would
terms
get.
of he was alone with his deceased wife's body for
Yeah.
hours. People are suspicious of,
Yeah, he
what he
definitely
could've
did
done.
stuff to her, for sure.
yeah,
And what are those sounds?
him choking her. And I don't know where the dragging noise is, though, if she was fighting and then she ended up on the ground and they're dragging in a tussle. I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe he choked her somewhere else and then dragged her to the bed. But Hae-young's mom still keeps photos from the wedding day in her house,
I
but she
feel
has
so
cut
bad
out
for her.
SJ out of all of them. And Hae-young's
I would
friends say
too.
it's been really hard. And also, this is the thing with SJ, we don't know his name. We don't know what he looks like.
That is
Because
such
of
an issue.
the identity protection rules in South Korea. In fact, we weren't really supposed to know who Hae-young is, what she looks like, or anything about her, but her parents wanted her to be revealed because they said, you will never understand what was taken from us if you don't see, like, the beauty in our girl, if you don't know who she is.
That's so rare.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Hae-young's
And she is
friends see
gorgeous.
this as a way to prevent. I think it's different. So I think everywhere, but especially in places like East Asia, marriage is seen as like you have to get married. It's the next step of your life. And so a lot of people are using this case amongst other cases to be like, hey, you really don't have to get married, because if you marry the wrong person, you could also be dead.
Yeah.
Hae-young's friends say, whenever I'm struggling, or I'm frustrated, or I'm happy, I want to call Haeyoung, and I can't call her. And I think about her every single day of my life. And that is the case that recently went viral on Instagram, where it was just like a headline of like, husband in South Korea kills wife because she said no to sex during her period. But it's just there's so much going on aside from that.
Yeah, it's awful.
What are your thoughts in this case? Let me know in the comments. Be safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Bruh, it's so awful. Like, you just... It's just like, especially... I never knew about the hospital stuff either. Like, the stuff, you know, in Korea and stuff. Like, where... I mean, I don't think any of my family has actually ever been in the hospital. I think when I was a child, my mum was in the hospital for something, but then I think we only went to visit her. I don't think any of us really stayed with her very much, but I think it's just because we were probably like 6 and 4 or something. So we, like, as children, we couldn't really go a lot, but I don't know. And my grandparents had to stay with us because we were like, you know, they looked after us. So I think it was really difficult, you know, for her, I think, at that time. But I think she was only in for about like 3 days maybe for the thing that she had, and obviously the people there would have fed her, like, but yeah, for nurses and stuff, I mean, I don't know if it's nurses, I don't know what they would be called, the ones that would feed you. I'm assuming it would be the nurses, but that's crazy. Like, I never really thought about the fact that like the family would do that in like South Korea. Like, I'm sure that you can also do that when you are in where we are here too, but like I think there's a designated like person that usually feeds the people, you know. I don't really know, but because as I say, we've never actually had to deal with that. But yeah, bruh, I really hate how it really feels so normalized, especially with like, even like, as I say, that lady who like wrote about like the fact that she like just says yes to everything apart from if she's like really seriously injured. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, if I'm not in the mood and I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna, you know, if he's in the mood, maybe I'll do something, but I'm not gonna like put my entire body out there for him, unless like whatever I'm doing to him makes me want to do it too. But like, I'm telling you, like, if I'm not in the mood that day, I'm not gonna, like, first of all, if I'm tired from whatever I've done that day, you know, I'm not doing anything, you know, I'm literally not gonna do anything with you. But if there's a full day where we've got nothing to do, both of us, then, you know, maybe something will happen. But I don't know, this is I mean, every single time you ever watch a Rotten Mango video, you have to know that it's going to piss you off, you know what I mean? You have to know that everything in this is going to absolutely just kill your soul. Like, everything that you thought was good in the world, you're just going to be thinking like, I hate everybody, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the fact that as well, like, her sister, like, one of the first parts of the like video was the fact that her sister said like, I'm so happy that, you know, my sister found somebody who understands her and everything. And like, it's just so sad, because you look at a couple and you think, oh my god, they're like such a healthy couple, they're such a power couple, they're such an amazing couple together, they're made for each other. And then you just see stuff like this and it's just like, oh my god, they are toxic for each other. Or like, the guy or the girl is just like the terrible one, you know. And it's just so bad. Like, I feel like it's so hard to see the toxicity in a relationship when it's not just out there to see. Like, there's so many couples where you just know they shouldn't be together and they're still together, and it's just like, oof. And then there's the couples where you don't see it because they hide it, or the person who is abusive or whatever hides it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so horrible. But yeah, a man gets 25 years for a premeditated murder. Like, it was premeditated as well. Like, the fact that he knew he was going to do it that night. Like, he knew he was going to kill her because she wants a divorce and because she wasn't giving him what he wanted, and he doesn't want her to be with anybody else. Like, he's a controlling bitch. Meanwhile, a woman in South Korea was branded a criminal for over 50 years for biting off her rapist's tongue. Bruh, is that true? To fix the misinformation, she was branded a criminal for 50 years, not imprisoned. Okay. But she got a longer prison sentence than her rapist. Oh my god, that's insane. That's actually insane. Like, what on earth? I do not understand, bruh. I feel like, I mean, the title was crazy alone. Like, if you're in your period, you should be able to say no to sex for sure. But it's also like, it wasn't even just the fact that she was on her period. Like, she was recovering. She was still recovering at that point. Like, it had only been like, what, 2 months, 3 months, a month, I don't even know, since she had the surgery. So it doesn't make any sense that he would want to. I mean, obviously the doctor said, he probably is the one that asked as well, like, you can go back to daily life in a month, whatever. Like, bruh, daily life does not mean sex as well. Like, if that is what you do on your daily life, that's crazy. I mean, there's so many people who have, like, I don't care about people's sex lives, you know what I mean, but there's people who have sex like every day. There's a TikTok I saw or something, or maybe it was like a Twitter video or whatever, but it was like a girl saying that her friend said that she like has sex with her husband or boyfriend or whatever like 7 times a day. And I was thinking, like, how? Literally how? Like, what do you do? Like, you would be absolutely broken. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You won't be able to walk. There's no way. There's no way I can believe that you have sex for like 7 times in a day. Especially not if it's every single day. Bruh, you would be absolutely dead. There's no way. But I don't know, bruh. It just really sucks when the actual good person is the one that had to leave the world, and the one who's like had all the surgeries that she had to have, and then she just gets killed. Like, it's just awful. Like, he's the one that should have died. You know what I mean? Like, he's just bruh. I just wish that with these types of things, I wish that people, I mean, you don't know what your partner's gonna do, obviously, but I just wish that people would, like, just because it's like, you know, she was already talking about a divorce, like, I just wish that she could have moved out at least, or like tried to move in back with her parents or something, or I don't know, like done something so that she maybe moved in with her sister. I don't know, like, we didn't find out if her sister's married or anything, but like if she was, like, I wish that, you know, she could have moved in with her and her partner or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, honestly, like, because it's hard, isn't it? You just don't know what people are going to do, and that's the problem. You don't know what's in their mind. Like, you don't know how insane people are. And obviously this guy was insane. Like, he was just absolutely batshit crazy. So it's just, it really does suck, because you just don't know who you have let into your house, and you don't know who you've let into, like, your brain, your mind, your being, your vicinity. I just wish that she would have said if the dogs were okay, because I'm kind of scared, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm so sure that he will have, I mean, he definitely did, like, you know, he definitely did, like, sleep with basically her dead body, probably. Like, he definitely raped her, that's for sure. Like, whichever way you want to say it, whether she was alive or dead, she was completely torn apart. Like, it's just horrible. It's just absolutely awful. It really is. And it's even worse that we can't see what his face looks like, because in 25 years when he gets out or whatever, you know, we're gonna have to, you know, figure out who that is, and we don't know who it is unless they, like, tell us who he is, you know. But bruh, it's just so awful. You just know that, like, people are so idiotic as well, because, like, the fact that Seungri got out of prison and shit, and then he still got people that have like fawned all over him, and like it's just insane. It really is just insane, like, to me. Like the idiotic fans that still like him, which is just insane. I just wish that everybody had an actual brain and they knew that people were just in the wrong. Like when they are in the wrong, when you know they're in the wrong, it's just awful when you see these things, and it's just like, why are people so stupid? Ugh. It just pains me for the family as well, because she's, as I said this whole time, she's absolutely gorgeous. She deserved a better person to be in her life. She literally deserved a better person. And that's exactly why I would have to make sure that whoever I am with, I'd have to be with them for ages before I knew that I was going to be with them, because there's no way that they would be able to spend like however many years with me, knowing how much I want whatever I want, you know, physical, anything, and then they're just fine. Because I think I'd have to have somebody that's on the same wavelength as me, you know what I mean? And I'd have to know they're on the same wavelength as me. But, you know, everybody's different, as I say. Like, she just didn't know that he was this crazy before they got married. I don't actually know if she said if they got married quickly or if they were like together for years before. But either way, like, it's just horrible, isn't it? It's just really just, ugh. I feel so bad for her family. I hope they're okay. I mean, they won't be, but I just hope that, you know, when he inevitably gets back out, somebody can kill him. No offense to anybody, but like, he definitely deserves to be dead, for sure. Anyway, bye-bye.
That was a lot of like nonsense.
Can but be kidding.